Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Eimear McKeown. Today's top stories. A Dublin secondary school is on lockdown for the next 2 weeks after a student contracted coronavirus. Unite Trade Union is warning that a dispute at University Hospital Waterford is set to spread to all its support staff at the hospital. A public play park on the site of Mount Sion GAA Club is due to be built by the summer. And in sport, Galtier still celebrating after yesterday's All-Ireland Camogie success at Croke Park. A Dublin secondary school will remain shut for the next 2 weeks after a male student contracted the coronavirus. He became the first person in the Republic to get COVID-19, leading to his school being shut as a precaution. Stephanie Rohan reports from the community at the centre of the case.
This male student contracted coronavirus after a recent trip to northern Italy and is now being treated in an isolated unit in hospital. The school he attends in Dublin has been shut as a result. This woman's husband coaches football to some of the students.
Yeah, it's crossed his mind, I would say. My advice is just wash your hands. But, he doesn't want to bring it home to our kids.
The staff and students at the school have been told to restrict their movements for the next 2 weeks. So what exactly does that mean? And does this apply to their parents and siblings? Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr Ronan Glynn explains.
What we're asking them to do is to avoid social gatherings, don't go to sporting events. If possible, don't have visitors into the house. For other people in the household, they should as much as possible go about their normal business.
The Department of Health is defending its decision not to name the affected school, saying it's to protect the patient and to encourage people to keep going forward if they've symptoms. These people in the locality have mixed views on this decision.
It's on social media, everybody knows, but I can understand them why they do it.
I don't know what the privacy is, to be honest. I can't see. I don't have a problem with anybody knowing.
It's going to be found out anyway. I'm sure it's way out in the media today.
The staff and students affected will be texted every day to see if they've any symptoms until the school reopens. The Department of Health, meanwhile, is due to give a further update on the Irish situation with the coronavirus this evening. Stephanie Ronan, Dublin.
Meanwhile, several European countries could be pushed into recession if the coronavirus outbreak escalates, according to the OECD. It's warning that the adverse effects on global growth and trade will be much worse if the virus spreads in the Northern Hemisphere or Asia-Pacific region. The OECD is advising governments to act swiftly and forcefully to overcome COVID-19 and its economic impact. European Commissioner for Economy, Paolo Gentiloni, says the European Union is ready to act.
It is time today to declare that EU is ready to use all the available policy options, if and when needed, to safeguard our growth against these downside risks. This is time for solidarity. It is time to build confidence. It is time to act.
Unite Trade Union is warning that a dispute at UHW is set to spread to all its support staff at the hospital. 125 members employed by cleaning services provider Momentum Support have been on strike since Tuesday. WLR's Sinead Ahern reports.
Cleaning staff at University Hospital Waterford have been on strike since last Tuesday in a row over changes to their working conditions without consultation. However, the HSE is now seeking High Court injunctions against union members from other departments who are refusing to pass the picket. Unite represents around 350 support staff, including porters, healthcare assistants and catering staff. The union says it'll ballot all its members employed at UHW for industrial action unless the HSE withdraws its application to the High Court and immediately instructs Momentum to reverse the unilateral changes to their members' working conditions.
The numbers of people treated on trolleys at University Hospital Waterford dropped by more than 20% last month. According to the INMO, 375 patients were on trolleys in the emergency department and in wards during February. That's down from 475 in February of last year. In January, funding was allocated for 30 step-down beds at a nursing home in Dungarvan to alleviate overcrowding. Recruitment is also continuing to open the remaining floors in the Dunmore wing. A 20-year-old man has appeared in court charged in connection with a crash that killed 3 people. Keith Lennon of Forest Park, Drummond T, South Armagh, faces a charge of dangerous driving, causing death and failing to report the crash to Gardaí. Casey O'Riordan reports.
This 2-car collision happened on the N1 at Carrick-Arnon near Dundalk in the early hours of Saturday morning. The crash claimed the lives of 3 people, 88-year-old Mary Faxton and her 58-year-old son Kevin, and Brian McGill, who was in his 20s. Keith Lennon appeared before Dundalk District Court this morning. His parents and 4 grandparents were present in court. He's been charged with dangerous driving causing death and failing to report the crash to Gardaí as soon as possible. The 20-year-old was refused bail after Gardaí objected on a number of grounds, including the seriousness of the charge. He will appear before Cloverhill District Court this Thursday. Casey O'Riordan at Dundalk District Court.
A public play park on the site of Mount Sion GAA Club is due to be built by the summer. The €70,000 project is a partnership between Waterford City and County Council and the GAA. The contract has been awarded and construction is due to take 6 weeks. Fianna Fáil councillor Eamon Quinlan told Damien Tiernan on Data Today that there isn't a play park in that end of the city.
A lot of people in Waterford City, especially the traditional end of Waterford City, are bringing, say, their grandkids or kids to places like Fenner Play Park, out Tremore. There was none of these kind of facilities up the top of the town, as we were referred. It's a complete blank slate. There's nothing there that's free. There's nothing there of similar calibre. So we basically hatched a little plan, and through the club, a committee was formed. I served on that committee, and essentially we approached the council and we said, look, the GAA will pay for half of this if Waterford City and County Council pays for the other half.
People in County Waterford are being encouraged to give blood this week. The first in a series of blood donation clinics gets underway at Lawler's Hotel in Dungarvan from 5pm until 8:30pm this evening. They will be returning from 3 to 5pm and 7 to 9pm from tomorrow until Thursday. The Irish Blood Transfusion Service are particularly appealing to B negative donors to come forward, as they currently only have 2 days' supply. 3 Waterford teenagers have been recognised for their role in making their community safer. Molly and Harry Flynn and their cousin Katie Condon from the Red Cross Cadets were among 16 award winners at the Waterford Garda Youth Awards. They won the overall Pat Noctor Award for the first aid courses they run for other young people. Katie says their courses are making a difference.
There was a 10-year-old in the schoolyard who saw his signs of a stroke on his friend, and he went and told the teacher, and the teachers at first were like, sure, no way, but the child was adamant and he said, no, it's definitely a stroke, you need to call the ambulance. And it was a stroke, and they brought him to the hospital, and they got there just in time. And if the child hadn't recognised it from like what we had taught him, the child would have had long-lasting damage for it.
Chief Superintendent of the Waterford Division is Pádraig Dunn. He says it's important to recognise young people.
Sometimes it gets lost in translation that An Garda Síochána can be anti-young people, and when we're not, actually we need to have the support of young people, we need to have their trust, and we need them to be able to come to us in times of difficulty. We also need to be able to honour their achievements, because these young people have been phenomenal in their communities, and it's only through interaction and through support from other people that the An Garda Síochána and communities can make places safe.
WLR Sport.
With thanks to the Waterford Viking Marathon. Register now at waterfordvikingmarathon.com.
Very good afternoon, I'm Gavin. Whelan, starting with Camogie and Galtier are celebrating after being crowned All-Ireland Intermediate Camogie champions yesterday in Croke Park. They secured a dramatic 113-13 points victory over Offaly champion St. Rynagh's. The Waterford and Munster title holders trailed by a point deep into injury time before super sub Una Jackman rifled to the roof of the net at the 64th minute. Her sister Patricia sealed a famous win with a last gasp free as Anya Ling climbed the steps of the Hogan stand to lift the Agnes O'Farrelly Cup. Una Jackman says it was beyond her wildest dreams to score the winning goal.
Yeah, it's just a dream. I just don't even have words since the final whistle went. I just can't believe it. I feel like I'm actually dreaming. Someone's going to pinch me and we're going to have to do it all over again. But I can't believe it. I thought it was gone. I really thought it was gone. And then Shauna plucked that ball. I don't know how she caught it. There was at least it felt like 9 or 10 hurleys up, St. Rynagh's hurleys up, and she somehow managed to get it. And I was screaming at her. And just turned, and just first instinct, just let fly, and just thank God it went to the back of the net. That's all I can say.
What a way to win it, and no doubt celebrations continuing out there in Galtier. All-Ireland Intermediate Camogie champions, and we'll get further reaction from Una and indeed Captain Anya Ling on our On The Ball show later on this evening. Despite yesterday's defeat to Tipperary, the Waterford hurlers can look forward to a home quarter-final in the Alliance Hurling League. Liam Cahill's side were edged out by Liam Sheedy's Tipperary 24 points to 216 in Semple Stadium yesterday in a game which saw Sean Stack issue sent off 3 players, Austin Gleeson on 2 yellows, Kevin Moore and Carl Barrett both receiving straight red cards. We'll get further reaction on our sports show this evening. Meanwhile, the Waterford footballers delivered a battling display in Frahar Field yesterday. They drew with Carlow 2-14 apiece. A 7th pointed free by Jason Curry late on there, edging a draw there for Benji Whelan's men. The Dacia boss had mixed feelings at the final whistle.
We put ourselves in good positions a couple of times in the game and failed to kick on from it, and it's a little bit frustrating because we tended to shoot ourselves in the foot. We did it on 3 or 4 occasions yesterday, and almost paid the consequence for it. I felt in general play we were better. With Carlow obviously very strong central running team, and they caught us a couple of times when they overturned us.
Soccer next in the FA Cup. 5th round gets underway tonight. 13-time winners Arsenal travel to 2008 winners Portsmouth, looking to bounce back from their Europa League exit on Thursday. Kick-off at Fratton Park is at 7:45. Liverpool have lost a key member of their backroom team, with under-23s manager Neil Critchley appointed as the new head coach of Blackpool. He takes over from Simon Grayson, who was sacked last month. And there's racing action today at Leopardstown this afternoon as a 7-race jumps card gets underway inside the next hour. Sports news on WLR thanks to WaterfordVikingMarathon.com.